Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, negotiation aficionados, and those of you who've simply wandered in here thinking this was a seminar on how to argue with your significant other and win, welcome. Today, we embark on a journey through the labyrinthine world of negotiation, guided by the beacon of Chris Voss's seminal work, Never Split the Difference. Now, I must warn you, leave all your preconceived notions at the door, for Voss is about to turn them on their head, just like a pancake, albeit with more finesse and perhaps a little less syrup. Our first insight is the FBI's equivalent of an opening night, the idea that negotiations are emotional first and rational second. Yes, contrary to what our old friend Spock might have told you, logic is not the captain of the USS Negotiation. Instead, we are dealing with human beings, not robots, although sometimes your negotiation counterpart might seem like they have the emotional range of a teaspoon. Voss teaches us to tap into that emotional subtext because, at the end of the day, we all want to be heard, understood, and to feel like we've made the choice voluntarily, rather than being bulldozed by a steamroller of reasoning and Excel spreadsheets. Insight number 2 is what I like to call the mirroring magic. It's not about gazing lovingly into each other's eyes, folks. This technique involves repeating the last few words your counterpart has said. It's such a simple trick. You almost feel like a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat. And voila, you have yourself a deeper insight into what the other party truly desires. You see, mirroring isn't just about parroting words, it's about opening doors. Every time you mirror someone, it's as if you're politely asking, "Could you please tell me more about that?" Moving on to our third insight, we explore the art of labeling. This doesn't involve a Sharpie and sticky notes, although that could be fun. Labeling is about acknowledging the emotions present in the negotiation. It seems like you value timeliness in this project, or you sound passionate about the quality of the work, are some ways you might label. By doing so, it's as if you're taking the emotional temperature. You're saying, "Hey, I see you're shivering in the cold abyss of frustration. Let me offer you the warm blanket of understanding." Fourthly, let's roll out the red carpet for our next guest, tactical empathy. This isn't your everyday run-of-the-mill kind of empathy. Tactical empathy is like empathy on wheels. It's going places. It means listening to your counterpart and making them feel heard. But wait, there's a strategy here. You're not just listening to make them feel all warm and fuzzy. You're listening to understand their fears, goals, and desires and using that understanding to guide the negotiation. It's empathy with a mission, and you're James Bond navigating the casino of conversations. For our fifth insight, say hello to calibrated questions, the kind of questions that make the other person stop and think deeply before answering. Imagine you're a detective in a film noir under a dim streetlight, and you ask the shadowy figure, "How am I supposed to do that?" It's open-ended, it's provocative, and it doesn't accept a simple yes or no. It's designed to hand over the reins of the conversation to your counterpart and then gently steer them where you want to go. And before they know it, voila, they're spilling their closely guarded secrets like a teapot that's been tipped over. Now, we take a turn down No Avenue, our sixth insight. No is often seen as the grim reaper of negotiations, but Voss tells us it's more like a misunderstood superhero. No gives the speaker a sense of control, and people love control like cats love boxes. Encouraging someone to say no makes them more comfortable and more open to actual dialogue. So, in your next negotiation, when you hear no, don't pack up your bags just yet. Instead, use it as a signal to navigate through the mist of the conversation, much like a lighthouse guiding lost ships to safety. Seventh in line, we unveil the accusation audit. This is where you address all the negative stuff your counterpart could think about you before they even say it. You might think I'm not giving you enough time to explain, or you're probably feeling like I'm asking for too much. Suddenly, it's like you've read their mind, and everyone's a little freaked out, but in a good way. It's as if you've swept out the skeletons from the negotiation closet and said, "Let's dance." Eighth insight. Let's embrace the power of "that's right," when your counterpart acknowledges that you've understood them by saying, "That's right," fireworks go off, doves fly, and somewhere a unicorn gets its wings. "That's right" is a sign of pure affirmation. It's the moment of true agreement, not to be confused with the feeble cousin, "you're right," which is often just a polite way of telling you to please stop talking. Ninth insight we have is the embrace of silence. Silence in negotiations is like a strategic pause in a symphony. It's the space between the notes where the magic happens. When you're silent, it shows you can listen, and it gives your counterpart an urge to fill in the blank space. It's also a power move, because in the quiet moments, your counterpart is often compelled to reveal more information or to mull things over, swinging the pendulum over to your side. And finally, the 10th insight, the illusion of control. Voss shows us that the most skilled negotiators create the perception that the other person is in charge while actually steering the conversation towards their goal. It's the intellectual equivalent of being a puppet master without the creepy connotations. Establishing an illusion of control for the other person while you lead the dance is the hallmark of a negotiation may. So, my friends, as we close the cover of Voss's riveting manual on negotiation, let's not forget that negotiation is not just a transaction. It's a finely crafted dance of psychology, wit, and timing. And you, with these insights tucked under your belt, are now better poised to sashay across the negotiation dance floor with Sinatra like smoothness. Remember, listen actively, empathize tactically, question perceptively, and when in doubt, just remember, never split the difference, because in negotiation, as in life, only one person can lead the tango at a time, and that person might as well be you. Thank you. Now go out there and negotiate like your life depends on it, because sometimes, in a way, it does.